Hey guys, welcome to the Backlog podcast number 45, and today we sat down with Avataryaya and talked about the stigma of getting good at fighting games, content creation, doing your taxes, and what it's like to get into older fighters. Hope you enjoy this episode.
The Backlog podcast does not encourage flubbing your taxes.
It doesn't. I still haven't done my taxes, have you?
Yeah, of course. I do them super early so I can get that refund fast.
My whole thing is that I have to figure out the whole Twitch and TikTok thing because,
I mean, Twitch just sends you like a form. And then
through the mail?
No.
No.
There should be one literally like in your creator dashboard.
Yeah, I have to look that up, and I have to look up the TikTok one. I think I have all of the other W2 forms as well, so I should be able to do it. And then it just becomes a matter of like paying someone.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if I want to pay someone or if I want to do it.
I know down in Chicago, there's a building where you can go to. The only problem is that you have to do it later because that's when they open, but they'll do it all for free.
Really?
Oh, that's pretty damn good.
They do it all for free. So I'm like, all right, I'll just wait till like the 20th. Yeah, I usually use TurboTax, but ever since I found out like they're paying it, like I could wait. Like
TurboTax is also free though.
Yeah,
TurboTax is free.
You know what you're doing.
Well, they. I think I have. I don't know if it's like through TurboTax, but I mean, what is that noise? Hold on, sorry. I thought I muted this. Anyway, so I don't know if it's through TurboTax, but like, you know how they have, if you sign up for the thing, they have like the history, and then they can go through and like apply that to your current year's stuff.
Yeah.
I have that, so I've kind of always done it through TurboTax. But at the same time, it's like, oh yeah, they're gonna probably charge me a little bit to do it through them. What was it? Oh,
I can have it just pull my Robinhood portfolio, and then that costs an extra $60 or some nonsense like that.
Yeah.
But it does save a lot of time.
Yeah.
Because I mostly do a lot of stocks trading, so.
Last year, because I was living at a friend's house, and it's probably gonna hurt me quite a bit this year. I was living at a friend's house and I was paying him cash, basically through, and he wasn't like writing down. They were trying to like pay him under the table or whatever. They basically they charged the hell out of me. So I barely made anything back in tax returns last year because of that. Because there's no actual like
weird. No paper trail. Yeah,
there's no paper trail. So because they're basically just cheap. I'll just say it. The people I used to live with, they didn't want to have any like sort of they didn't want a paper trail so they could be taxed for getting paid $300 a month. So that also reminds me, when I was living in Virginia, I used to work at this place, and some really sketchy happened where like there was this lady, and she'd be like, "Oh, my husband will do your taxes for you. All you gotta do is just send it over, and he'll save you so much money, right?" And I was like, I don't know, this seems kind of sketchy, right? Like some of that didn't feel right. So I didn't go through her. I decided not to. And then all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, but like later on, people that I worked with weren't getting their taxes back, right?
Yeah.
And it's because they got scammed somehow.
Wow. They got scammazed, huh?
Yeah. And so I started talking to them, like, "Hey, who did your taxes?" They're like, "Oh, I had so and so's husband do them." And it's
no.
Okay, there's your connection. Yeah. And then there was like other things too. Like I started getting like phone calls. Like, you got to be really careful when it comes to like tax season, because people are like looking for ways to steal your tax returns. Yeah, steal your tax returns this time of year. And it's like,
nightmare.
And I guess it kind of brings up another idea that, like, if you have a feeling about somebody, or if you have like a gut like feeling like, oh, this person's a scam artist, in my opinion, follow that sort of, that like inclination. You know what I mean?
Me with every artist that follows me on TikTok and asks if I want work.
Yeah, or like there's always like somebody who will, you know, there's stuff like that, or people that come into the chat and like you've never met them before, but they already want something from you. There's all kinds of stuff you kind of look at it that way.
Oh yeah,
but,
for sure.
But yeah, it's always weird when you meet somebody and it's like it's hard to tell sometimes. You ever have that, like, where you meet somebody and you have a gut feeling where it's like, I don't know about this person. Seem kind of sketchy. And it's like, is it just me like feeding my brain the wrong sort of like, you know,
Yes.
information, or, you know, is there like an actual reason for that? You know, what do you think? You guys think there's like an actual like spider sense you have?
I do. I'm very like, why'd you say it like that?
Yeah.
Like, I know for me, because like last year, well, years back, I had a family member that, this was before like I started doing YouTube taxes, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, I was like, okay, cool. And then my family members would be like, half the family members would be like, yo, go to your auntie, and another half would be like, and I'm like, okay. And I'm like, all right. And then I go, and as she's doing them, she's like, yeah, I want like 45% of this.
What?
And I just got like, I was like, what? 45? You don't even know how much I'm getting. She's like, oh, I already did the math. I know how much you're getting. And I was like, you know what? I gotta go. I said I was straight up loud. I felt bad. I straight up loud at my auntie though. I was like, I gotta go. My girl called me. I'm single as shit. I am lying. Like, I'm like, I gotta go. My girl called me an emergency. Took my computer and everything. And I'm in the car like, I'm not doing this again. So then that's how I found this place. Cause they told me if you're like middle class or even low, they'll help you fill out your whole taxes for free. And before you go in, it's government approved. So if anything goes wrong, it won't be on you. It'll be on that building, and you'll still get your refund back. So that's why I've been waiting. Like, I'll wait till like the 20th of this month, and then do it, and I'll sit there for like an hour or something and get it done.
That's not even that late, actually. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're still in the month of February, so it's whatever. As long as you're not like filing at like the freaking end of March for some reason.
Yeah. I try to get that out the way.
So Quinn, let me ask you this: have you just not have had enough bad stuff happen to you where like, you developed the spider sense? Then is that, you think that's why? Or
I mean, I tend to just avoid bad things just in general. Just kind of happens. I don't know.
I mean,
I've had some shitty things happen, right? Like I've been scammed before and stuff like that, but I've always like recovered and had like an out. So
sure.
About it.
Well, I meant to say, because you're like, well, you said, you know, I'm paranoid, but I don't think that. I don't think. I mean, I think a little bit.
I think we're all a little paranoid.
Well, of course. But so you're saying that sense of like that initial sense of meeting someone, you're saying like that could be paranoia, but also it's this weird duality where it's like, yeah, I could be paranoid, but like also like I've been right before about my gut feeling.
But tinfoil hat on. Listen up.
No. There's no tinfoil hat. I'm telling you, like, what I'm saying is like, a lot of people say trust your gut feeling. Like when you work with somebody, like have you ever met somebody who you're like, man, I really don't. This person seems like they're not great to work with.
Yeah, of course.
And so, you know, it's like. And then so you choose not to, and it's like it's your gut feeling you're following. It's not, you know, I don't know. Yeah,
I usually look for more, you know, like social kind of tells, like the way they're talking or if they've flubbed things up, you know, stuff like that.
Yep. I usually can tell like, you're trying to get something out of me. Sometimes,
exactly.
Sometimes I'm the person that will trigger keywords to come out of people just to see what they say, so I know I can get away.
Yeah.
Like, like I just ask certain questions that I really don't care for just to see a person's response.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's basically, it's kind of funny like that, right? So it's sort of like if you ever meet somebody, like one kind of a little tell for me is like if you meet somebody and they're already like they're aggressive the first time you meet them, so like maybe something minor happened and they're already being aggressive. Imagine when something like actually bad happens, like how things are going to get when you start to like work with that person. So it's like, I think that's a pretty important distinction.
Well, maybe they've just had a bad day, though, Can't base it all off that first encounter.
See, I get how you feel, Backlog, because I'm like, if I know you have like a bad, like if you come up with this just like weird angst energy from something like that ain't that deep,
yeah,
then I'm like,
what if you have multiple meetings with someone and you give them the benefit of the doubt the first time, then the second time they do the same shit. That's where I'm. I mean, I left that part out, but this is a specific thing.
Yeah. You pretty much just did us as like I'm asking for someone, but what? Not really.
No. I'm just trying to talk, man. I ain't trying to talk shit about nobody.
Just give me a fucking excuse, man.
Hey, just give me permission, guys. It's okay. You might be taken down with me. Oh,
I ain't getting canceled alone.
So did you guys happen to see? I mean, I figure we could probably talk a little bit about this before getting into the interview whole thing. But what did you guys think of the Tekken 8 Nina trailer?
We're just getting straight into that.
Yeah, okay. I really want to talk about it now because, like, I don't know. I feel like it'd be good to warm up a little bit before.
All right, so Tekken 8 featuring Nina from the Mortal Kombat series. That's what it reminded me of. Cassie Cage. I'm joking. I just saw that on the Air's thumbnail. But honestly, right, when I saw her, the first thoughts, like I have a reaction, and I'm like, Tekken 8 looks so good. It got me thinking of the RE engine. Like I was like, dang, that's a Resident Evil character. Yeah. I was like, okay, let's go. But I think I'm scared about Nina because like if she with her buttons, will the gun still come out? Like, is it gonna be that? Is it gonna be that type of situation? Because
she whiffs and just two taps you in the chest. Oh,
those moments in fighting games where you perfectly avoided something, or you're just away, but the animation continues. You just like, I don't know. Maybe in like CC2 games they do that a lot, but I'm so paranoid about like Naruto Storm and Demon Slayer stuff like that. I'm just like, I'm so scared of interactions like that.
Maybe it'll just be a hide and you can duck it or you can sidestep it.
I saw your tweet, Yaya, about like how you said, well, you're either gonna love the guns or you're gonna absolutely hate them.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think when I looked at it, when I first saw it, I'm like, I can already tell this is gonna annoy the shit out of me when this comes out. Like I'm gonna, like, I swear to God, it's gonna drive me nuts. As soon as the first time I have to encounter a Nina player, I just like saw it and I started having like PTSD from Deathstroke. And
oh my gosh!
I started having PTSD from Deathstroke and freaking Injustice. I'm like, I start getting like triggered. I'm like, it's Deathstroke, no, please. And then just knowing that like I'm gonna have a lead on somebody, and then they're just gonna start lighting me up as soon as like they get any kind of rage meter. They're gonna use that right away. Any kind of opening they get, you're gonna get lit up. Just hopefully
Nina looks a lot more fun in Tekken 8. Like we didn't see any of like her, I don't know, I guess her patented, like back sway cancels or anything like that. We just saw some like actual straight up gameplay. She looked like more of an actual character in this rather than kind of a walking gimmick.
What's the gimmick? Huh?
Explain to me as someone who
Nina in
hasn't.
7's just kind of gimmicky, right?
What do you mean?
Like all she does is apply pressure with her like backsway cancels. That's just Nina in
Okay.
Tekken 7. And
Well, I
then
thought-
she just throws strings after strings after strings, and then like it's just I don't know. She looked a lot cleaner. I think that's like a whole thing they're kind of going for with Tekken 8 is like more clean, crisp animations that make more sense with like moves and giving characters more of like an identity. Like
Personality.
with Nina's
Yeah.
guns. Nina's
Yeah.
guns, she uses guns in her assassinations, so why wouldn't she use them in her moveset? You know, like that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
I think that's dope. I really
Yeah,
do think.
exactly.
I'm big on tech. I'm super casual with Tekken. Like I've attempted competitive Tekken before, but I don't really know that much as I feel like I should because all my friends are like they're Tekken and Smash Bros.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah. I just like I kind of want to play. Nina's always the character that I've always liked, but I never really tried or sat down with her. I'm a big sucker for like, all right, secret agent, pew pew, like type of thing. So, so like I'm kind of like, all right, she might be the one right now. Like, but Jun Kazama's the character I always play.
Right.
But the reason why I didn't play Tekken 7, y'all might get mad, but I'm a hardcore character loyalist with this. I was like, they didn't put Jun Kazama in the game, and they didn't put Christy in the game. And I'm like, I'm not playing this.
damn.
That's how I was. I literally, my friends was like, he's like, you're not gonna play. He's like, no. I'm like, I'm not gonna play. They took my girl out, both of them out. He's like, you serious? You gonna play this? And I was like, yeah, I put like 100 hours into it just playing with them, but like not for real. Like I would like lab it every day, but I was like, yeah, I just don't connect with nobody here besides Akuma. I love Akuma.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah.
Not one of those.
That's completely reasonable. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why I don't play multiverses. Other than when I touch the game, I'm like I desperately want it to be Smash for no reason.
Oh yeah.
And I don't have
It
a
wants
better
to be
reason.
Smash.
I don't have a better reason for you. A better reason for you other than that. That like once I start playing, like sort of my hands start to like my brain goes to Smash mode, and I'm like I want to play this like Smash. It's not Smash. I mean it's sort of like Smash, but it's at the same time it's not. Like it feels like the air dodging mechanics are similar to Smash, but
I think the big difference, if you want to touch on that, as a person who like competed in multiverses, got top 8 a couple times, I think the big issue that I have with multiverses is the dodge mechanic. I hate it. Like I despise it simply because there's no shield or defense in the game.
Yeah, was it so hard to give us a shield?
Yeah, and
those are the two things I
literally
want.
I literally made it too. I was like, next platform fighter that does not have a block button is getting slammed. I'm not giving it a chance.
Yeah.
Like I'm not doing it. Like
Shut that shit out.
Yeah.
Put it down.
But I really want multiverses to succeed because out of all the developers I've worked with and stuff like that, they came through and like they were like, yo, we want to support y'all. And I really like that they do that, but I agree. I feel how you feel about multiverses in that way. Like I am good. I play so many Smash clones throughout a life. Like my favorite Smash game, I still think the most beautiful game to watch is Melee. I'm perfectly fine with how Melee is, except for like in-depth things. But I can watch Melee all day. I can watch the same 2 characters for like 5 hours straight.
And
like,
you will when you
Yeah,
when you watch
you're in luck.
and you will. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel that.
Yeah. Damn it. I'm like I totally lost track of what we were talking about.
More of an ultimate person. I love to see the huge freaking roster and so many characters get played at all levels of play is fantastic to me.
Oh yeah, that's dope too.
Like you look at the top 15 or whatever, and it's like all different characters. Like that's the good shit.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. Quinn, remind me like what the first thing I'm talking about. My Alzheimer's kicked in. What did we first talk about there for a second? We talked about the Tekken 8. So
Multiverses.
no, well that was the what we switched on to. We kind of went on a tangent.
I was talking
Tekken
about
8.
how like I'm a character loyalist and
Right.
like
Yeah,
it's
character
I would
loyalty.
just not play a game
Mhm.
if I'm not feeling nobody else in the roster because I know what I
Yes.
like.
Yeah.
But June's back.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Yeah.
Also, technically, you could have played any
Nuh-uh, don't,
Christy,
no,
Eddie, you know.
no. You just put the bottle. No. Just
One has
remake.
tits, one doesn't. One has tits,
Okay,
one
all
doesn't.
right. Look, I'll rather look at tits all day.
Oh my God.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat.
There you
I'll
go,
rather
there's-
look at
There it
that all
is.
There's
There
the
it is,
clip.
the admission.
That's the clip. So I'll say this. For me, I love Guilty Gear. I really do. But there was something about Strive that like I couldn't vibe with any of the characters, and I really didn't feel like I was attached to anybody. So it's like it's a weird thing where it's like I do have character loyalty, but it's also, you know what I'm saying? It's like I just wasn't feeling it when the
Your
game did come
character
out.
was made different. So
Yeah,
you
I
know.
think in Strive is probably my most heartbreak fighting game. I love Guilty Gear. Like before the Strive hype train
Mm-hmm.
came out, like I was the person that spent like $200 on like all the other art books and manga and reading it, like because I needed to know because for content, right? I was doing it for the sake of content because
Mm-hmm.
I'm already Blaze Blue, so I gotta know about the beginning. So it started with Guilty Gear. I was getting the books. My friends was giving it to me. The Arc System Works put like the little synopsis online of the manga, and I was so deep into it. And like honestly, my favorite character is Kai, right?
Yeah.
But my favorite move in fighting games, period, is Greed Sever, the rainbow sword thing. And when I played Strive and that wasn't in there, I literally was like, I think I might even had a clip on stream, and I just literally sat down and I was like, Daisuke, why you do this to me, man? I spent like $200 on y'all in like 6 months. Like that's more than most Guilty
Also,
Gear
Kai
did.
was trash on release.
Yeah, my big issue with
Quick Dragon
Strive,
install.
yeah, like they was like, yeah, give him that. I'm like, okay.
Daisuke gives you $20 every time you use Dragon install. That's the incentive.
And it's like my problem with Strive that I just can't get into it with. I hate the wall. I just think that's a
The wall
very
break?
yeah. I hate wall break, giving up the wall. I'm not a big fan of that. Like it's cool, but it's like it kills the hype. Like I'm very rush down oriented. So now if I get you on the wall, I'm just like, well, I might as well break it because then
Yeah.
we reset neutral over and over, and it just feels very stale after a while. And it's like, I don't know. That's just me though. I think the game is still beautiful in its own right, just not for my taste.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just
I'm kind of in a similar boat. I don't have like a huge amount of like Guilty Gear experience though, but you know, I've played some, you know, like Rev and Excel and
yeah,
all that nonsense. So like I have experience. But like Strive, all the characters just feel so different than they
yeah,
did in any other edition.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really gel with me. Like I love Ramlethal. Ramlethal's basically completely different in Strive. She has a different game plan and she uses different moves, and I don't even know why I bother.
Yeah.
Like it's just
yeah.
heartbreaking, kind of.
I was. I'm an Anji boy. I'm a plus R Anji,
Oh,
and
there's your Anji boy also.
Hey.
I'm a plus R Anji boy. So I played with Strive, and I was like, I did the butterfly, and I was like, we're not finna do this. I don't want to learn this because they want you to put in more work for nothing. And I was like, a lot of people gonna think this character's trash until he gets some extra options off of things. And I remember recently. And I remember recently, like they buffed him, and like, yeah, now he's better now. And I'm like, look how long it took y'all.
It's too late.
Almost 2 years.
It's
2
too late.
years. Yeah. So
They had to focus on happy chaos.
I know. Yeah.
Ah,
I
that's
see
the-
his face. He's like,
Dude, that's the
Freaking
other
happy
reason why
chaos,
I don't
man.
like that game. Like I can't. Okay, so as soon as I saw there was like I can't remember what tournament it was. It might have been Evo. I don't remember. but there was a tournament I watched of Strive where it was just two happy chaoses in grand finals, and I'm like,
Yes.
fuck this
It was
game.
It was okay. I was there. That might have been Combo Breaker.
I think that was Combo Breaker.
And I was okay. So I actually like Happy Chaos, not fighting him, but I like everything he does. I'm either all the way rush down or you getting away from me. So I like zoning. Zoning was my first place that I really liked.
Yep.
So come down to it. I'm in the front. I'm sitting next to the front row. My friends are like, let's sit right here. Let's sit right here. No, actually, I was like, let's sit right here. We get the front row seat to Strat. It's my first time ever seeing the front row. That was the biggest fucking mistake of my life. Because you know when Happy Chaos shoots and reloads and it makes that noise? I'm next to the subwoofers and the speakers. So every time they're doing it, it's like boom, boom. And I'm like, fine. I'm not even caring about the match. I'm looking at the little gauge with the buzz. I'm like, please run out. Please run out. And I forgot he has meter. He reloads them and it just go boom. And I have the biggest headache. I hate that character now. I'm like Broly the Kakarot with that. I can't stand that character because the sound
chaos.
Like, I couldn't do it. I can't do it. But
dude, literally
Driven
the worst.
insane.
The worst grand finals I've ever seen in my life was that Guilty Gear Strive where I'm like, I watched it. I'm not even kidding. I sat there for like 15 minutes. Like, is this really the meta of the game right now? I gotta watch two Happy K. Like, I don't want to fuck it. This was so boring. I don't want to watch this.
You didn't see the Smash 4 tournament where it was literally Bayonetta versus Bayonetta, and they both just trolled around for like 4 minutes.
Oh, yeah, I actually remember hearing about it. That was a long time ago. That was like 7 years ago, dude.
I was in that boat. I was in that boat with that tournament because I was a part of the Bayos. Like, I was in the Bayo Discord, and they were like, everybody hates us, so you might as well.
Might as well ruin the tournament. Whatever it is.
I'm like, just play it out at least. They're like, nah, bro. We getting revenge. And I think that was the day the Smash 4 community had Smash community in general. A lot of people went down a little bit because they were like, come on, it's grand finals, at least play it out.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I could like the Twitch chat, seeing that like, oh, Bayo carry, Bayo this, Bayo that. Like, I remember seeing that for like a lot. And Smash Bros is very lame. Like, when it comes to that, like, for example, I was probably what I used to be scared of picking top tiers was because Smash Bros for like a year because I played Sonic and then I played Bayo, right? And then I was the person in doubles that played Cloud. So like I just couldn't catch a break if I played something. They'd be like, he's not good, he's carried, yada yada. And like they'll be real toxic about it. There's people that will go to you on Twitter and be like, dang, that's crazy. You actually play like a loser and they'll at you. Like that's how lame it was back in Smash 4. But now I'm looking back, it's kind of funny because I'm like, dang, you wouldn't even got this far on stage, you know? Like,
yeah, that's okay.
That's how it is.
That's okay.
Yeah.
When I was playing Tekken, when I played Tekken 7, I played Lydia for a long time, and then I would beat some better players than me, and they're like, "You're carried by Lydia," and it's like forever internalized. I'm like, oh, okay, you now I'm gonna play Geese. I'm getting carried by Geese too.
Yeah, yeah. Don't let them have fun.
Okay.
Now I'm like, I don't care about the pain. I want the money. I want you to not go. I want you to not advance.
Yeah.
I don't want
I just couldn't believe that a tournament official had to come on stage and be like, hey, you guys have to actually fight.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. No, they actually had to come on stage and be like, hey, no, you guys have to actually play this out. You have to fight. You can't just sit here.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yes, like
It made the Smash community hate Bayo even more. Like,
yeah. It's so bad. It's so bad. And it sucks because like she's one of my favorite characters in Ultimate. Like, I'm not saying she's bad or anything like that, but they definitely nerfed her. Like it was just like I was just like, why? Like I'm playing Ultimate. Like my problem with Ultimate is I love the game, but a lot of my favorite characters besides Cloud are dry. So I'm just like twitching, like Fairy Odd Parents, like watch y'all do this to Bale. I was that crowd. Like, buff this character that nobody wants to see buffed.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Some
whatever.
people still making Bayo work in Ultimate, so more power to them. They still love that character. They're still just pushing through, like winning tournaments even, or getting like top 2. Crazy. For a character, people are like, this character's utter garbage. I was in the same boat. I'm like, this character's utter garbage. She went from like tippy top tier to in the trash can.
Yeah, the big problem with Ultimate to me is the netcode. So like trying to play a character that technical and then I was like, I'm not gonna deal with this. I'm gonna just go play. I'm gonna play Joker. Play Joker and Palutena. Like I was like, I'm not gonna deal with that.
I played Joker just because I love freaking Persona.
Oh well, I literally beat Persona 5 the day before the game with that announcement.
Nice.
I was like, okay, this character. I was talking about for us all day. I was like, this character is dope. And then like even in my reaction, my brain was like Persona 5 Arena. I was like, let's get it, let's go. I was in complete copium mode, and I was like, I already bought Smash. I was so excited that day. But I know for me, like Sephiroth was probably my favorite Smash reveal. Yeah.
Sephiroth?
Yeah, Sephiroth.
It was a great Smash reveal, especially with him stabbing Mario. It was like very
I think
very iconic.
Sora, the character that was basically impossible to ever see. Sora.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. I bet my friend
Sora.
I bet my friend $100 on Sora. I was that confident with Sora. I was like,
money, dude.
I was like, it's either Sora or Dark Souls. I literally was like, it's one of those two. And the reason why
I was hoping for Monster Hunter personally. I was really in the Monster Hunter camp. Something to hunt this Rathalos, damn it.
I know we're getting off topic here, but let me say this. Yeah. I'm mad at Byleth, not because it's Fire Emblem. I love Fire Emblem. Mm-hmm. Her moveset is literally Monster Hunter. It's literally Monster Hunter. And I'm like, why?
You could have been so much more.
Yeah, people would have actually played you more. Like besides MKLeo, like but yeah.
I mean,
I also had hope for like indie representatives. Like I love Shantae. I thought Shantae would be a fantastic like Smash edition.
She could be interesting.
She got a Mii skin. That's cool, I guess. Honorable mention.
The Travis touchdown. That was the worst direct.
Travis.
It was in the same direct. It was Travis touchdown and Dante, and I just walked away. I literally walked away. I was like, y'all was like, all right, stream. My homie entertain y'all. I'm gonna just go lay down. I was that salty. I was like, both of them.
Mine was like Doom Guy, freaking Master Chief, and Shantae. I was like, I'm out.
Yeah. But
it's kind of funny that like when as a side note here, when you brought up like, oh, my problem with Smash is the netcode, and I thought to myself like, oh, I didn't think that. I was like, oh yeah, of course. It's like it's so synonymous with the two. Yeah. Where it's like I don't even think. I was like, oh yeah, he doesn't need to mention that. But then again, it's like, no, that does need to be mentioned because
we need to hammer it home on repeat.
It's
forever.
Like, for the love of God, Nintendo, please put rollback in your game. Please. Just go back.
When you release Ultimate Remastered, rollback, please.
Yeah. I honestly think we need a Smash Ultimate Deluxe, one more big patch, and better netcode.
I don't think we're actually gonna get like more original Smashes. I think they're just gonna keep repackaging Ultimate and possibly like adding like a little trickle feed of content. Because making a whole new game at this point with such a ridiculous roster seems pointless. Like, with how much work went into getting all of that, we'll never see a roster like this again.
That's true. But I do think that, like, I'm in the case that, like, I like smaller rosters because it helps, like, flesh out the characters more in some ways. Mm-hmm. Smash Bros. Is a weird case because the characters are fleshed out in different ways than most other games. Yeah. But like as in a competitive way, like playing Smash Ultimate competitively is tilting because now thinking about it, you gotta think about your 2 to 3 characters versus 86 matchups. And it's like Like it really tilts me because when I get into bracket, I'll get out the pools the next day. Then the next morning, I gotta fight Yoshi. I haven't fought a Yoshi since Smash 4. Like, what am I supposed to
Who
do? I
plays
forgot to
Yoshi?
shit. Like, who plays Yoshi? You know, and that's my fault because I don't know that information. But there's a lot of matchups that you just won't get
Yeah.
experience in. And I'm like, okay. But
Yeah.
other than that, I think there's a lot they could do to Smash to make it better. But I think the roster is untouched. It's unmatched.
Yeah.
They can't go
The-
beyond it.
Sakurai just has so much care, and like his whole crew they just put so much like love and appreciation into every character. It's ridiculous. No other game even comes close. Like you think about like guest characters in any other game, you're like, yeah, no, I mean like they're all right. There's some of their identities there. And then you play like a character in Smash, you're like I'm literally just playing the character from this game right now. Like
Yeah.
it's nuts. I'll sing the praises of Smash all day, except for the netcode.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Of
Um,
course.
So, okay. So if you guys don't mind, let's jump into the
Enough
interview
sidetracks?
section of
All
the.
right, let's go.
Let's jump this in. Okay. So, yeah. I don't think we actually ever had a proper introduction. But why don't you tell people a little about yourself? Like, who are you? What do you do?
What's good? I gotta do the intro here. Might as well. What's good? Can't do the intro here because I haven't been on here before. Never mind. But it's y'all. I generally come from the anime game space. I'll give y'all that. Meaning I guess I was around with Smash Bros growing up, but I played a lot of Naruto Storm. Yes, competitively. There's VODs on YouTube of me playing. I really hate those. Somebody take them down. Regardless, but yeah, that time of my life I did not like because I was so like good at it. People was bad. Like I literally played how like people will play in other fighting games, but that community doesn't like that type of thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like picking top tier or just playing it out. They don't really like that. But I'm like, I just want to win, bro. I'm tired of losing. But I generally started with I was in a situation growing up where I had all of my granddad would bring all of the major fighting games. The only one I don't remember playing growing up, which is funny, is Street Fighter 2. I didn't play Street Fighter 2 till like I was in like 8th grade. Like I didn't play that till later on. But my upbringing was honestly Mortal Kombat and Smash Bros. And I'm a content creator on YouTube. Right now, I'm primarily covering Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6, and Final Fantasy. Other than that, I also am an editor for multiple content creators, shorts or full videos on the side. And I'm on the goal to become a commentator. So
Hey.
that's where I'm at.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's really cool. And you cover, like you were saying, you cover mostly fighting game content. You'd say,
yeah,
yeah. And then of course some Final Fantasy stuff on the side. Are you excited for Final Fantasy 16?
Yeah, that's the only game I'm thinking about. Besides Street Fighter 6, that's the only thing I'm like, oh, it's coming out this year.
Yeah.
We're coming back to the fantasy part of Final Fantasy. Let's go.
Yeah. That's the big reason why I'm hyped. I have so much. What would you let's say?
I'm sorry. Is that only on PS5?
It's supposed to be coming to PC too.
Eventually,
yeah.
So
Square, you ain't getting until 2024.
Okay.
You're waiting at least a year for it on PC.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm waiting at least a year for it on PC.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you though, but yeah. But yeah, I asked you if you were doing mostly fighting game content, and you're saying right now, yeah. So I know we had talked a little bit about sort of like the stigma in fighting games that you have to be good at them to play them, and so I was really thinking about this, and do you think it's because people who are good at fighting games or skilled at fighting games are just seen as like having high value in the fighting game community? You know
Well,
what
I can answer this. This is funny. I'm happy you asked this question because I just talked to Lord Knight a month ago.
Mhm.
And Lord Knight, their perspective is nobody wants to watch pro people make content because we're boring or we talk too much, right? They think the casual content is going to do better than the pro high level content, right?
Right.
And I think in that case, some people have this idea that it's starting to break down with like all the controversies and stuff happening on Twitter. Well, like just because you hit buttons good don't mean your content or you are a good person.
Yep.
But I do think it can be seen as a high value, especially if you got top 8 and you know if that person getting top 8, why wouldn't you look up a video that they just made by them? They might have a higher level of insight in a certain area than somebody else. But at the same time, it's all about, I'm a big firm believer, and I think this stands for content creators as well,
Mhm.
right? Like some pro players are smaller than some channels that just make gameplay videos,
Mhm.
right? For example, the biggest channels on YouTube for fighting games are number one, Maximilian, and number two is Super. He just plays Mortal Kombat and uploads it all day, right? And they're both, I believe, at 1 million subs, right? While like some of the pro channels, they're just now hitting the 90 to 100K range, right? That's a big difference there.
Yeah.
They have a specific audience for that type of content.
Yep.
So I do think like, yeah, there's some insight, but I'm a firm believer of it's not 100% about what you say, it's about how you say it. And if you could present it in a matter that digestible for anybody within the space to watch it, even outside of the space,
Yeah.
getting people looking into your content, you can win either way. I don't think it's just
Absolutely.
about the pros.
Absolutely. I mean, like if you think about it, it's really I think the problem is that people it's exactly how you said. It's like people that don't know anything about fighting games or don't want to play fighting games like love to learn about them. Like even if they're competitive or they're lore wise or whatever. I mean, most of us, I know I did, got into fighting games for the lore, the anime aspect of it. It's like, oh, this is so cool. How does he throw the fireball? It's like, oh, well, he learned the Satsui no Hado or whatever. And it's like, oh, that's cool. Teach me more about that. And so you play the games and then the lore affects the gameplay. And I feel like that's kind of like, getting into it. And then it's like, oh, I just like to watch fighting games. It's like, playing soccer or football. It's like, it's kind of like a diving in point. But I definitely think, it's like, I think the stigma of being good at fighting games could go deeper than just fighting games itself. I think it's more of a societal norm than anything. Like, if you are like, let's say you go, you're higher valued if you're a doctor as an individual, right? You contribute more to society. Okay. It's kind of sort of seen the same thing with fighting games and that sort of stigma as like, it's like it's more than just, having skill. It's being seen as having value. Does that make sense? Okay. And
I definitely see where you're coming from.
Yeah. And so, which is why I'm saying like, yeah, it's there, but there's like more than one way to have value in the fighting game community. And I think the problem is that it kind of goes into the toxicity that you had talked about. It's what happened. Why are people toxic? It's like, well, they're toxic because they don't see value in what you could offer them. Like you're less than, you know what I'm saying? You're less than a human. And this is like a big thing in the military too. It's like, if you're just like a civilian, and I only know this because, like I said, I lived in Virginia. I lived like near 2 military bases. Okay. And to them, you're basically a scrub. You know what I mean? As a human being, if you don't have like a career or any sort of like any sort of like outward aspirations, or if you're not in the military to some people. So, there's that whole like duality of like, oh, okay, you're a scrub, you're this, there's that toxicity because they don't see the value in what you can offer. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like the same reason why some content creators, like bigger ones, won't come on your podcast or your YouTube channel. It's because, well, you haven't quite made it to the point where they see the value in what you have to offer. Or maybe they just don't have time. I mean, it could be one or the other. So I mean, that was just sort of like what I was thinking about with that sort of angle.
I'll say this, and this is for anybody that goes with content, that even wants to attempt content. And this is just how I kind of look at a lot of things in life anyway. Don't let societal norms eat at you, right? You could be aware, but what that does, that stops you from uploading, that creates insecurities. You'll sit there and talk 3 days about making the video, but you won't make the video. Now it's a week gone by, and then the video's still not done. And then you wake up one morning, and then like, no attack on him. Maximilian does the exact same video you thinking about. So now you feel stupid, like, dang, I could have did that a week ago. And now you're just sitting there just, fighting yourself. And at the end of the day, you have to learn how to take your own, you have to realize what you put out there in the world is what you want to see. And that's usually how I go with content. There's some days in content where I'm like, all right, this point in the video, I sometimes I let some things just rock in the video just because it just makes it seem like I'm just not perfect, right? Like, I don't know if there's a thing like that, but there's some things where like something feels too like commercial. I kind of get weirded out about it a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, not even just like esports stuff, but stuff that just feels super robotic and stuff. I want people to know that, like, yo, this guy is a very genuine creator. That I'll say what I feel. I'll say how I talk. I just generally like the things I want to put out there in the world. And seeing how people view content creators, I know a lot of friends like that won't make content because they think their opinion won't matter. But I know they're a master class of writing and putting a script together and plotting, and they can make things click for them, right? Some of the best content creators started with an idea, an idea and Microsoft Word. So, yeah, you just got to make it work that way. But you are right. I can see that being a thing. But I know for me, like, number one, I haven't made content on, like, for example, multiverses. And I know I'm rambling about this, but this is where I kind of killed that stigma with myself recently. So I was scared to make videos like, all right, tier list this, or how as good is this character? Should you buy this character? And then I realized that I can make these videos from my perspective, what I'm looking forward into, and what people would care about with the character. As a pro player, for example, let's use Sin, right, in Guilty Gear, right? And Sin, a pro player would be like, should you buy this character? He'll talk about like the normals, his frames, what tools are good and stuff like that. I can make the same video, but I can also talk about the one important thing, why these things are fun to me. And I think the biggest thing a lot of people step out on is feeling like they can't offer anything to the conversation, when at the end of the day, your opinion is just as good as somebody else's. Right? It could be wrong, but you can add some type of insight no matter what you say. Everybody can say the same thing, but it'll probably come out differently.
Yeah, you could be wrong, and your comment section could tell you're wrong, but
will they?
But will they? Yeah, boy, will they? But you're better off not listening to them. I mean, listen to the people that comment on your videos, but also don't, because there's like, there'll be people that are just there to try to cause chaos. Not happy bad chaos. Quinn, what do you think about the whole like toxicity angle of the FGC? What do you think about that stigma? You think it's a stigma?
I mean, I'm kind of more in your boat, where like basically the only people that are seen with value are people that have like actual like achievements in fighting games. And if you don't have those achievements, you are very easily brushed aside.
Yeah. Ironically, it's sort of like the whole. That's sort of like the whole you know, the idea of the alpha is fake, right? Do you guys know that? Have you heard of this before?
Sounds like beta talk, but let's
Yeah,
go on.
that's what it
Just
sounds like.
okay, just humor me for a second. Fine, listen to my beta talk. Okay.
Welcome to my beta chat.
No, seriously though, the person that had wrote or coined the idea of the alpha male, right? He had written that the alpha male is specifically based around wolf packs, right? And he eventually found out that his claim of the alpha is not real. It's not exactly real. It just means that like there are multiple like basically wolves are not, one wolf does not run the pack. Like it depends on the situation. Like another wolf may be, contributed to do a specific task. So basically what it means is, depending on your situation and who's around you, different people have different skills to be that sort of to lead in a given situation. So it's really not like there's not like one person that is always, it's a team of people. It's a wolf pack, right? So then the person that coined the term, and of course I'm just paraphrasing here, so I could be a little off, but you can look this up, wound up trying to debunk his claims of the alpha male, like for the rest of his career. So but it's like such a like sexy idea, but people are very fixated on that. So yeah, it's why, and it becomes a part of some people's identity even.
To be fair, it sounds cool. I'm not gonna lie.
It does sound cool, but it's not exactly as black and white as people want it to be.
Right.
So this has been my beta talk. So yeah,
Sounds
just
kind of beta, yeah.
sound kind of beta, yeah. See, it's like when people say that too, like when someone says, "Oh, that sounds beta" or "That sounds alpha," I just want to slap them in the face. I don't know why. It's just like an automatic, like, shut up. I just want to like slap somebody real hard for saying that. But I mean, I get it, but it's like it's one of those things where it's like, have you ever, you given somebody a fact, but it's like you kind of realize that it's not what the facts are, it's what people will believe or people want to believe, right? It's like we can all say, well, Michael Jackson isn't guilty, but really everybody wants to believe that for some reason. You don't have all the facts, but it's like people are just inclined to believe certain things. Go on.
Interesting choice.
I don't know. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that that's true or false. Because I don't have enough information. That's not a claim. That's just me saying as an example. Yeah. Does anyone have any sort of thoughts on that or?
Nope. I ain't touching that one.
Yeah. I don't really have that much thought on it. It's just like it makes sense, and then sometimes it doesn't. So it's like, that's my whole thing. It's like nobody knows the truth of things until they get down to the finer details. So it's like you explaining that part to me. I thought just everybody mutually agreed that was a thing. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm hearing that, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
Some
like
people lost. I see.
Yeah.
Some people lost.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
They're lost. They don't understand. They can't cope.
Yeah.
So but we all sort of like, that's sort of like a societal thing. Again, another,
right.
Yeah, like you said, it's like don't follow societal norms, and there are people that you will meet that, whether they intend to or not, will try to talk you out of doing something because they see you as some form of competition or threat, which doesn't make any sense. But it's sort of like I feel like there's that sort of like, there's a competitive aspect to everything, and even content creation, or you're playing fighting games. They don't want to see you get good at something, so they're going to give you some resistance. And I think that's weird.
I think when content creation, it is competition, right? Like, for example, there's some channels that I can't beat out because my computer's not that strong yet. It's gonna get there, but not yet. Even when it comes to throwing up, excuse me, like especially like I don't stream on Twitch, right? So when it comes to reaction videos on YouTube, you're supposed to just throw them up. Like, that's how that works. Because once they get in the algorithm, the numbers build, and then you make the thumbnail. Right? It's all about time. With some videos are time sensitive, some are not. Right? You're supposed to throw them up and tag them. And then you make the thumbnail, because then people are gonna be looking, right? Like, once the reveal happens, people are like, "Yo, that's dope. Who else reacted to it?" They'll click off the whole presentation. Like, I've seen my little brother do that before. Yeah, I've seen my little brother do this before. But like, what game was it? It was Fire Emblem Engage, right? And he's like, "Yo, that was sick. That's raw." And as the presentation's going on, he clicks off and he goes to YouTube and like he types the name of the game and reaction.
Let's see what Jim Anime has to say about this.
Yeah, just a random. He's like, who popped off about it? That's how Smash reviews used to work.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I tell people when my Sephiroth stream, I was like, I think I figured out the tech to getting reactions, right? Like, sad note, today I'm like kind of tilted because I literally walked away from the Tekken stream for like 30 minutes to go like cook and eat.
Aww.
And then as I walked away, because I thought they said 7 p.m. tonight. Because I was going to mention, I was like, hey, if the podcast is later, because I forget, I'm so bad with EST time zones. And it's just because, like, I used to work with anime people, and they used to do stuff 3 hours, 2 hours before. I'm CST. So, like, I was like, okay, if I have to be, like, 5 minutes late, just give me, like, 5 minutes. But then I realized, as I'm on Twitter, I see hashtag Tekken 8. I'm like, it's no way. Like, I did the time conversion error, and they said 7 p.m. And then I realized 7 p.m. was a time I picked the wrong time, and that's when it was supposed to be like ending at their time. And I was like so mad because like people were talking about the reveal, so I had to literally log out of Twitter so I won't get spoiled. But usually when I do reactions, you literally just get them out, and then I come back after they out and then make the thumbnail and stuff.
Yeah,
for branding purposes. But it is competition. Like, fighting game culture itself is very competitive. Like, at the end of the day, I guess I'm weird because everybody wants to win at the end of the day. But for me, I want to learn. I want to be able to compete rather than just win. I want to be able to fight the finest and feel like, yo, that was a good match, rather than just 100% just straight out winning. Because if I know if I'm already winning 24/7, that's why I got bored of Naruto. Winning for most part, there's like 10% of people that I just was either worse than or I were better than them. But other than that, when it came to Naruto, I was like Saitama, and I was like, this is kind of boring now because everybody just don't get what I'm doing, and I don't want to tell everybody what I'm doing because then they're gonna start saying, "Oh, you suck." That's how toxic that community is, right? You teach them how to do something, they're like, "Oh, you're trash now," and I'm like, okay.
Good talk, bro.
Yeah, good talk. But with anything in life, it can be competitive. Some people make things competitions when they don't even need to be. Everybody trying to eat.
Yeah.
So like at the end of the day, so I help everybody else. If they won't help, I'll tell them what they would do. Now, if I'm uploading the same thing at the same time as you, I'm gonna be like, hey, do you think that sounds good? I'm not gonna give you the answer because I'm uploading it too, right? Then that's me giving away the bag to you 100%, right? But if it's something else I can help you with, or if you think this looks good or bad, I will definitely help you with it.
Yeah.
But there's a line I'm like, all right, chill out. Like, I tell somebody, I tell people because whenever this come out, people on Twitter has been roasting the Street Fighter 6 character select theme, right? I said I was doing that, the themes. And somebody out of nowhere in the Discord that I don't even talk to DM me and ask me, yo, what you feel about this thumbnail and this title? And I'm like, yeah, I like the thumbnail, but I'm not going to give you the title. Like, I literally just said I was going to do that. And then if I give it to you and I upload mine, you're going to be like, oh, he fake, he stole that from. I'm not trying to deal with that. There's a lot of people that do that in YouTube spaces. I'm like, I'm not even gonna deal with that. So I just be like, either A, I purposely will leave you on red till I upload. I get so many people asking me the same question. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, I will leave you on red. I will leave you on red, especially Discord, because they don't have like the red thing until I click on it. And I'm like, I already know what this guy's asking me about. Like, some guy I never talked to that never come by the stream, say hi, hello. I haven't seen you in 7 months. Like, and then asking me for help, and I'm like, as much as I want to be Superman, can't say everybody every time. So you got to wait a minute. You know. See, y'all, since I talk to y'all now, y'all can hit me up, but not everybody gonna be able to get answers from me. Like,
what was it? So I'm of the mindset that, I mean, we're actually not. I mean, we're all technically competing against each other, but not in my opinion, not really, because you can't. Because, you know, it's like thoughts and opinions, right? You can't control what people think. You can't control what people do, right? So I can only do the best that I can, and then you're gonna decide whether you want to stay or not. Right. And it's like, you might go to my video on Tekken 8, and then you'll be like, it was all right. Then you might go to Yaya's and be like, okay, I really like this. And it's like, oh, damn, I didn't compete hard enough. You know, I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't. Loser. It really, at the end of the day, what's gonna make my video better is just me working on it more, or me coming up with better ideas, me getting better at what I'm doing, which is why it's like, oh yeah, there's all these people, but it's like that nothing I ever do is going to be like, unless I'm just like slandering you and I can convince people of that. There's not, I don't know if there's really much else like that's competitive about YouTube other than like, the only thing we could do, like, say me and Yaya joined forces, right? And we're like, let's share ideas to figure out what works. Then we just grow together. See, that's how I think it should be, personally.
See, my thing is, not to cut you off, my thing is that I don't care what size you are. I care about the person. Sure. Is your energy good enough to be on a video? Can you make the video fun and entertaining? I don't care if you got 0 subs. If you're funny, you lit, or if you can add some insight or give me some information for the video for the viewer, sure, you're good. You don't need much for me to be on the video. But if like somebody hits me up and be like, yo, let's collab, and they're like, yo, so today we're talking about like DNF duel, and I'm like, yeah, now I gotta act like I'm interested, but like the energy's now taken out of me, but I want to make sure the video is good, at least from my end. And there's a thing on YouTube where, like, when people collect, it's like with rap music, right? Or like any type of artist, rather. And people be like, dang, this person ate him up on this song. Oh, dang, he outdid him here. And it's like, that's a thing with YouTube, with collabs. Like, dang, why was he so funny on this video? His videos are better. And then once you start collabing a lot, there's people that start this stigma. They'll be like, his video is only good when he's here, and it's like, okay, I'm not trying to go through that.
Okay, so how do I put this? So my whole thing is like, you know, it's like, oh, you don't have great energy. And it's like, all right, fair, but that's like a very conscious effort that you have to make. The energy thing is really important. And it's like, it's very, especially when you stream, right? But like at the same time, there's like this sort of duality of like, yeah, I can see this person has energy, but they're also like dead inside. Yeah, you know, or it's like I'm watching someone stream and I know they actively don't want to be there, but they're just like, they're putting up an energy front, which is what you really have to do. Let's face it.
Yeah.
There's an energy front to streaming. There's and like I see it all the time, and maybe, but it's important for that sort of that mirage to be there, and because you have to do it, because look, not every day is going to be a great stream. Not every day is going to be a day where you want to make a YouTube video. I know I've done some voice acting and when I say voice acting, I mean, you know, read some scripts and made some videos where I listen to it and I'm like, why was I half asleep when I made this? what was I thinking? And you know what I mean? It's sort of that thing where it's like, it is important to have I'm in entertainer mode. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But like for me, I'm still working on the energy thing. It's not always easy. And you gotta really sort of always be like, okay, what are we gonna do next? I gotta focus on, having some energy, not getting angry. Actually, being angry, especially while streaming, is something that bogs everything down.
That's why I don't stream like that. Like, when I play fighting games, like, I guess if I compare myself, like, I get really like tilted. Like, not even that the player, I might say stuff towards the player, but it's in my mind, I'm like, I'm just so stupid. Like, why did I do that? Why am I letting them do this? And like, I just say like, bro, like I'll be playing, I'll be like, damn, he really just mashed that shit. And then in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm stupid for letting them mash that crap. So it's like I'm blaming myself, but I'm verbally like saying it towards the player. And I get very tilted about it because, especially like me, the one thing I'm probably thinking about doing is getting a VTuber model of myself because I feel like I'll just like sit there and I'll be cooler like not feeling subconsciously how my face actually looks with it, but the VTuber though. So I'm just like, okay, I'm raging, but like it ain't really me just being like, like really pissed. Like Street Fighter 6, I was getting mad because I felt like, okay, first hour, I was getting pissed off because I kept getting drive impacted. I was like, what is this move? I was like, who designed this? I was like, Ono ain't even there. Bring Ono. I remember saying, I was like, Ono not even here no more. Bring Ono back. I can't do this. Right? I literally said that. And literally, after I learned it, I was like, bro, I got to delete yesterday VOD. I'm so angry. I was like, who designed this mechanic? And then after I learned that it was like 26 frames, I was like, oh, you could just break it. Because I'm already playing Chun-Li. I'm just like, oh, I'm a rapid kick it. And I just kept doing it every time. Like, everybody kept making it obvious. And I was like, oh, I love this game.
Yeah.
Just in a span of 24 hours.
That's like the first hurdle that I came across was the drive impact thing. And then you kind of learn there's like four or five ways to deal with it, right? You either jab out, you can grab out, you can counter drive impact, you can jump, you can neutral jump, you can, whatever it may be. You can DP out of it. But except, most of the time your DP will armor hit through, but you'll just wind up landing on the other side of them. So now they're in the corner. So the whole thing just becomes in the early level. And I think it'll be like this way when the game launches. It's all going to be baiting drive impact. Right. Because what people wind up doing is they try to walk you to the corner and then they drive impact. And then, they keep trying to drive you to the corner. That's going to be the whole base of the game. At first,
I know the one thing I have a problem with is Street Fighter 6 is the distance between the wall and like if I block drive impact and it knocks you. That's the one thing I just don't like. And I'm like, dang, I knew I wasn't that close, but then our character just walked to the wall and I'm like, he actually did that. And now I'm sitting there flabbergasted like, oh, I'm about to lose a lot of damage. I have friends that I won't out them, but they're using the crack. So like, I have friends that are just like cooking me if I get out on the wall, and I'm just like, oh my god. But like, it's helping me to not. It's kind of destroying the tilt early on, right? Because I know another game I used to get tilted at was Soul Calibur. Reversal Edge used to make me so mad for like the first week, and after that I was like, oh, I actually like the mechanic a little bit now. Now I understand what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm weird. I'll turn the game on and be like, yo, fuck it, we ball, fuck tutorials, and then get cooked and be mad at myself. Like, that's usually how I play sometimes.
Same.
So, yeah.
We going
Big
in.
same.
Yeah. Yellow Roman cancel.
Okay, so here's what I did last stream, and this might have made a difference, okay? Not last stream, but the stream before that, I played Tekken. I think it was Wednesday. I got so pissed off that I didn't want to play the game, but I still finished the stream. I still did it out. I still, but I was like, I think side note, I think one thing I hate is when I get somebody who tries to challenge me for clout while I'm streaming because they know they can beat me. And then they just like, and then they basically, what they do is they sandbag until like, you know, you start to pick it up, and then they start, or, you know, of course they have all of a sudden they start ducking and dodging everything. Cause they, you know, they turn their CPU on or their computer on or software on, I guess. But, so I was
with their hands to their feet.
I was really angry. But then the next time I played, right, the thing I started to do was I was like, okay, today we're going to learn. I opened up a notebook. I watched my last few matches, watched my replays. I said, I fucked up on this. I fucked up on this. I fucked up on this. Right. And then I wrote that. And then, so the thing about Tekken is there's two ways you can look at replays, right? You can look at it from your perspective or his perspective. And then you can look at his button inputs, right? So if you choose your replay, like I'm playing Geese, right? And they're playing Kazuya. If you pick from the perspective of Kazuya or of Geese, you'll see like your inputs, and then it'll say, you can dodge this move by doing this. You can punish it by doing this, right? That's you. It'll show you your stuff. If you select Kazuya, it'll show you player 2's inputs, player 2, you know, dodges or whatever. So I pick player 2. Because what it will do is it will show you the move. Okay, you getting hit with this move or this gimmick. It'll show you the input that they did. So you write it down. It's like, oh, they press down forward 2 here, and then they press like back 3+4, right? So you write that down. And you watch like a couple replays. You know, keep writing down all the mistakes. Then you go into training mode, hit record, have them jab twice, do the move. Then you have like an answer to punishing, especially gimmicks. It helps so much. And then, yeah. And then you do little training exercises. Like you're like, okay, this match, I'm just going to try to block as much as possible. And then instead of saying, I need to win this match, because once you look at it from a learning perspective, it actually makes things a lot more fun, and it makes taking the edge off losing a lot more. Also, you know, doing player matches, because when you're really all your focus is on like, I don't want to lose these points, I want to get that ranked match, it sort of like tilts you a lot of times, like just focusing on, damn it, I got to get out of warrior rank. Except you got to realize that you're playing on PC, and all of these people have been playing this game for probably a year minimum. And you know, this is their third or second character that they're learning right now, and you have to, and they already know how to play the game. So you gotta be able to go through it with that mindset of, yeah, I'm learning this character, but you got also, this game has been out since 2015, 2016. So it's like, you know, it's a little tough time to start Tekken, but also, you know, it's the best time because people know, you know, how to learn the game. But yeah, that was like, I felt like that really helped me not get tilted. So if you go from it into fighting games with a learning mindset, and you feel like you can break down what happened and what went wrong, it makes things like when you lose, it becomes exciting because you're like, oh, the next time I play this game, I know what to do. And he's not going to hit me with that stupid stuff. He's not going to be able to mash out of this because I'm going to blow it up. And I can't wait until Kazuya like tries to health sweep me again, because I'm going to do like 90%. I'm going to do a 90 damage on this guy for touching me.
Calm down, dude.
Ooh, I was like legit sitting down I got to work, and I'm like, oh, that Kazuya beat me. But you know what? I know I'm going to practice, you know, punishing 1-1-2 practice, you know. And then I started I'm like, I can't wait to fight another Kazuya because I want to be able to practice fighting them again. So when you get
motherfucker to try that again,
yeah, I dare him to do it.
Yeah.
And so when you get to the point where it's like you can teach yourself, is when you get over the first hurt. I realized really the early ranks is all just like fucking up with your character, and then trying to teach yourself how to learn the gimmicks that every character has. And really, like, early ranks are all gimmicks. Like, everyone's just hitting you with, they're just knowledge checking you. It's really just like knowledge checking you. And then once you kind of get past that, that's when it's like, oh, now it's actual. Now you're playing the game for real now. Now, since everybody knows, what to do. But sorry, I didn't mean to go on a big tangent there.
Good.
Quinn,
That was good information. I just, not to cut you off. I need to start doing that.
yeah,
Like I was watching Frosty yesterday, and Buddy brought out a notepad,
yeah.
and I was like, "Dang, like I didn't think about it, but I'm like, I'd rather have the information on hand. Like, especially with Smash Bros, y'all would hate me because I would have like a giant notebook of like some stupid stuff. Like 10 pages would be like how to stop Wolf. That's the character that gets on my nerves. I'm like, how to stop Wolf. Yeah. But I might have to do that. Get a notepad and just start taking down notes. Because
yeah. Sorry, I mean, so no. When I was watching, do you know Juicebox?
Yes.
Okay, so I frequent by Juicebox's stream and Nerd Joss too, and I've been watching them for a long time. And I'll just be like, I went to Juicebox's stream, and he's like, how long are you playing for? And I'm like, about 4 hours. He's like, 4 hours should leave you with plenty of things to learn, plenty of things to do from that stream. And I'm like, I'm not keeping track of any of this stuff. I'm not keeping track of why. This is why I'm frustrated when I play fighting games, because you're not actually keeping note. You're not learning from anything that you're doing. If you're not like actively keeping track of like, oh, I'm fucking up here, then you're never going to be able to learn from those mistakes. Like you think you can just like sort of internalize a move, but like 3 months down the road or like a week or two, someone's going to still pull out the same gimmick. And you're not going to know what to do. You're going to forget.
That was my biggest hurdle in Smash because I've been playing Smash since it came out, right? But Samus has always pissed me off since the beginning of time. And I would be wondering like, how do I get around this setup? Like it just, no matter the character, I would not get around it. And I think it was probably like, it was CEO Gaming 29. It was right before the pandemic. And I fight a Samus, right? And I lose and turning, and I'm like angry because I'm like, it's one game out of pools, but I'm like balding, like I'm like Homelander angry because I'm like the character
angry.
Yeah, the character is like cock blocking me for greatness, bro. So like, dude comes over next to me. He's like, "Hey man, you did really good. You just seem like you just struggle with this matchup. Nor I have got help." And I'm sitting there like, I want to be an asshole, but like I'm like
nuts,
salty.
Yeah. Because of these songs, like, you know what? Let me ask some questions. I brought up my iPhone and I was like, let me write some stuff down. I'm already here. I might as well, right? He was like, "Oh yeah, have some intangibility on the up tilt," and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you can't go through it like with all the other 80 characters in the game." And like my eye twitches a little bit, but like now I know the solution, right? And ever since that day, like the freaking up tilt or charge shot, I've never got hit by that ever since I learned that. So like, I think I should actually go back to taking notes again.
Yeah.
I haven't really been in a grindy mood for it. The last game I'm probably grinding is Melty Blood.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I just haven't sat there and wrote notes down on what generally happens or look at replays. I guess it comes with like the idea of now that I'm content creator, I'm editor, I don't be putting the time into it. I be acting like it takes too much time, but writing some stuff down for like 10 seconds is not the end all be all. I just never really thought about doing that until I saw Frosty yesterday. And then you just reaffirmed probably another level to me of like, you kind of got me wanting to play Tekken now. I didn't know Tekken was in that deep with that. Like, he kind of got me wanting to play Tekken. I'm like, oh, dang, I got hit by something. What you hit me with? Okay, all right.
Yeah, and like also, not only that, but it helps you memorize frame data whether you know it or not, because like it will teach you, oh, here I can do this punish. And then, you're like, oh, because it's this amount of frames, because this moves this amount of frames. And so I think frame data is important to learn, but I think it's like secondary to the idea of I'm in this situation and things are going wrong because this frame data is beating me out, or you know what I mean, or I'm not moving right. It's really like those two things. It's either I have to block this or I don't have to block this. Those are like kind of the sort of the two categories that I feel like Tekken goes into. But like you can either press a button to beat it out or you can't. Okay, so I know we talked a little bit about single player content and how with single player content, it's like yo, Quint,
Yo,
what you up to over there, man?
I'm just kind of zoning out petting my cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm running on like 3 hours of sleep.
Oh
not
yeah,
gonna lie.
you be clicking over there, dude. I can hear you.
Yeah. I have Twitch.
Also,
What?
Yeah, I have the backlog up on Twitch.
What's up, man? Also, what?
Twitch. I don't know. Twitch has been doing this stupid weird thing where I'll have a video muted,
Mm-hmm.
and then the audio kind of unmutes for like one word and then remutes.
Are you muting it by browser?
No, I'm
Go
just
click on
muting it in the
your
player.
tab. Click right click your tab.
Yeah, but I
click,
shouldn't have to do that.
just do that. Just do that while we're streaming. It will help, and so that way I don't get the feedback in the actual VOD or the
Well, you're not
podcast.
getting any feedback. It's all my side.
I'm hearing echo somewhere.
Shit.
Yeah, so if you mute the site, that'll help.
Shit.
Especially while streaming.
All right.
Okay, so
Fair enough.
we talked about single player content, how it's extremely important in fighting games, very underrated. Now, have you ever known a fighting game was good, but you felt cheated by buying it, by having the amount of content the game had to offer be poor, the single player content?
Oh, I can answer that. DNF Duel.
DNF Duel. Also, I want to point this out really quick, Quinn.
Does DNF Duel have any single player content?
I think
does.
the gameplay is fun, but it's like the single player
Like
content.
arcade mode?
Single player content's like McDonald's, like hand-me-down toys. Like, you know, the ones you wanted, you know, like the toys you wanted from like your parents be like, oh, I want the toy from the commercial, and they give you something from the last promo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that's DNF Duel to me.
I want the Ben 10. All right, here's the Chris 11. All right.
Yes,
You gotta like it.
Chris
the
11.
Barbie toy you don't want, you know. Yeah. But
so you say DNF Duel? What do you think the best fighting game single player content is?
by series or game and period?
It doesn't matter. You could say either or.
It's gonna be Street Fighter 6.
Okay. I'm a big advocate for, because when I review fighting games, I don't review them just by the gameplay. I feel like they lack because of content. There's so many people that outside of people that don't compare about getting better at fighting games, they'll say that's all you do is fight, and that sucks, right? That just generally sucks. And I hate when people see it. I get it. I was gonna say Smash Bros. Brawl. I think Brawl's the most broken, simply because of subspace. But then if I had to go outside of Smash Bros., like that's the cheat code answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows Smash is broken. It has to be Soul Calibur 3 or one of the Mortal Kombats.
I was gonna say personally, I was gonna say Mortal Kombat. Quint, what's your answer? What's the worst and what's the best?
I mean, like, I don't really focus on single player. I mean, I know people enjoy it. I think Street Fighter 6 is going to be the best, but we don't have that in our
Yeah, that
hands
doesn't
yet.
exist right now.
So, I actually really enjoy Eunice. Eunice has a really good single player because it's basically a whole ass freaking story. It's a visual novel plus a fighting game.
It's true.
And I dealt with that.
And you know, people that like Eunice definitely love visual novels. Hey, I'm not judging.
And then the worst is
It's really easy.
Soul Calibur 4.
Soul Calibur 4.
Soul Calibur 4.
Was it just have like an arcade mode and that's it?
No, it just has a bunch of half-baked garbage.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
Street Fighter V as being my worst.
You didn't
But
like the little adventure mode story
no,
thing?
I did, but when the game launched, it didn't have it.
That's fair.
It didn't have it, and all it like, I think it barely had an arcade mode. I didn't have an arcade mode.
It didn't have arcade
Well,
mode. It
launch.
didn't have.
Yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
have arcade, yeah.
Well, Street Fighter V was obviously one of the weaker ones.
Half
Yeah,
finished?
it was not it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Like, I think Street Fighter V is in that case where, depending on who you ask,
Mhm.
like the single player sucks, but the gameplay is Street Fighter. Like, it's fun
Yeah.
to some extent, and then you get into the technicalities of like, V trigger, brain off, like, but yeah, I honestly, I'm not even gonna say DNF Duel is the worst. I just think in a recent memory, it's bad compared to what Arxis has been putting out. Like, if you look
For
at
sure.
Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, that game should not. That game is extremely underrated. Like, the content in the game, you have multiplayer co-op story mode. Who does that? Like, why? Why is that in there?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like, who does that?
That
And then,
was great.
you could get like weapon skin. Bro, don't let me nerd about that game. That game, it's extremely underrated. Like, it's literally like a perfect package.
Absolutely.
Like, except for the Neko.
It
But-
warms my heart for you to say that. I always preach the word of Grand Blue.
What is your favorite strange mode in a fighting game? Like a mode that they didn't need to put that in the game, but it's like that's freaking awesome. I want that in my damn game. Again, I want that in another game.
All right. It has to be the Tekken 6.
Ooh, yep. I know what you're gonna say.
It just makes me think about it because I just laugh every time I run through it with Lars. It's so funny. Like, it doesn't even make sense. It has to be that mode. I forgot the name of it.
It's like the beat 'em up mode.
Beat 'em up. Yeah, that
Tekken
mode.
Force.
Yeah, Tekken Force. All right, it was something Force, but that mode's freaking crazy. I like that mode a lot, and I think Blaze Blue had some of the best single player content that people don't know about. And I think the mode they had like this whole conquest mode where you'll go through the mode and you'll get like upgrades for special attacks to get more. It was like an RPG, or like you get boosts for like attacks, or you get like different color pieces. You can change the color of the weapons and stuff like that. The bosses would do armored moves and different things like that. It's completely different from standard single player fighting game story modes. It has something extra to it. Yeah, I
That
think
reminds me of Era Guys. Era Guys had
Era
like the
Guys.
core Era
Exactly.
Guys,
That's
and
exactly
then
what it
it also
was.
had like this weird RPG, like dungeon crawl. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, sure, let's go.
All right, well, I'm gonna say it then because it's the same company, but Tobal 2 has the same thing.
Ah, god damn it. Yeah,
Dude.
I know.
Tobal 2's dungeon crawl is incredibly difficult. It's
So is
incredibly
Era
difficult.
Guys.
Yeah,
Era Guys
it's
just shits on you. They're like, no, we want you to actually struggle. Real dungeon crawl.
and what it does is it doesn't let you save once you go into the dungeon. It only so when you die inside the dungeon, it sends you back to town. So you have to run all the way back into the dungeon and then start at floor 1. And the floors in Tobal 2 are randomized. So you might encounter a bear, like an actual bear, because it's Tobal 2. They have bears that you can use as a fighting game character.
Yeah, why not?
And then you have to, you got to fight a bear, and then you got to make sure you don't take damage because I'm sorry, the characters aren't randomized. Some of the floors are, but the items you get are randomized. So you might not get a potion. You might not like a healing potion, like right away. So you could just screw up your run early. And honestly, I would say if you're going to play it on a save state. I would say that's the best way to go through it.
What?
Quint, do you have any modes that you think of that you want to see again in a game?
So probably a weird take, but I love Tekken bowling. I don't know. There's just
I love
something
Tekken bowling too.
stupid
Love it
but
too.
fun about it. I don't know why it's a thing, but it's a fun thing. It just takes me back to like playing like Milo's Astro Lanes and stuff like that on Nintendo 64. Those old bowling games,
Mhm.
where it was like more of like a bowling fighting competition type of thing, where you had like different characters, different powers and stuff like that. So I think it's really cool.
God bless anime.
Tekken
That's all
Bowl.
I'm gonna say.
God bless
Yeah.
Tekken Bowl.
God
Tekken Bowl for
bless the
Tekken 8?
Tekken Bowl.
Tekken Bowl Force for Tekken 8?
Yeah, where you just have to like run through and bowl every enemy you come across.
Yeah, exactly. It could be like Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, but Tekken.
I'm gonna say a couple honorable mentions, and that are Cross Fever. I think it's like Cross Fever mode in Marvel vs. Capcom 1 for the Dreamcast specifically.
Oh.
This is a mode where it's 4-player Marvel vs. Capcom 1, where each slot, right? So player 1 slot is player 1, player 2 slot's player 2, so on and so forth. To be able to switch like players, you have to pass your controller. So, player 2 is in first, right? Or
I hate it.
you hate it? I'm sorry, player 2 is the player
hate
2
it.
side. I think
Sounds
it
like
is.
Marvel. It's no, you know what it sounds like? Because I probably do remember that mode faintly, but it reminds me of Party Matching Fighters, except for that like you just had to tag them in, and that was so toxic. I don't like that. So that's how I
Passing
feel.
a controller, man. Fuck that noise.
It's fun, but like you can also like add like basically do the thing where you have both characters come in at the same time on your team. So like you're literally sitting there trying to block like two people trying to mix you up. Like it's kind of
Oh yeah.
it's fun, man. It's a good time. I'm trying to think what else is kind of a weird mode that I want to see again. I don't know. If it'll come to mind, I'll shout it out. But that's literally the first thing I want to see in a fighter. If they ever make another hyper fighting game.
Well, was it Soul Calibur 3 that had the weird like conquest mode?
Yes.
Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was pretty interesting.
I like that.
It's
I'm
a
excited.
pretty cool idea.
I'm
Not very
excited for
good,
Grand
but
Blue because they got
cool.
Fall Guys.
Yeah, Fallout guys.
That's like one of my favorite video games.
Fallout guys.
Fallout guys.
And
It's an interesting game.
they also have like a soccer thing. Like they're like, we're having this stupid ass lobby system. Let's just do whatever we want with it. Let's just add games within the game.
Yeah. People are like, this is so stupid. But I'm like, it's the first step to stopping the whole all you do is fight that random people say when they play fighting games. It's like it's weird. Like I was getting mad at it at one point. Because people were like, why do y'all like fighting games? All y'all do is fight each other. And I didn't understand that, right? Like it blew my mind because so many people say that thing. Especially on TikTok, you get the most brain dead comments. Like you'll just be like, why? Right? And it'll blow my mind because when you think about games like Fortnite or even Call of Duty, their maps are so big. There's so many things that always happening differently in those maps. There's like little mini games in the world, little things you can interact with. It feels like one game you can experience multiple different games. And with fighting games, if they ain't good, they're gonna be like, man, this game suck. Never playing again.
Dude, I'm just fighting the same person over and
Yeah,
over.
I'm fighting the
again. I
same
don't
person. And
understand, man.
I'm like 0-25. How am I supposed to win, bro? Like, just turn it off. Like, you
Turn it
know.
off. Fighting games on for you, dude. Don't worry. Move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm
I
gonna
say
gatekeep them.
I only got a couple of more things for you. I know we kind of go for a long time.
No, that's fine.
So I know you said that you
Not
were
even
playing
2 hours.
the. I know you said that you were trying the Street Fighter Alpha series. Now,
Yeah.
with that, do you think that retro fighting games? Now, did you get a chance to play through them yet, or?
I've played one. I played the first two. I haven't finished the third one though.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the question is, do you think like retro fighting games are bad, or is just the information inaccessible to new players?
I want to know. I know you didn't write that question.
I did write that question.
Okay, I know you didn't get that from just yourself, but like retro fighting games are not bad.
What do you,
Got
bro?
'em.
I
Fucking
literally.
got him.
I do
What are you
not think
talking
he
about?
wrote. There's no way
I
retro
wrote
fighting games.
I literally sat down and wrote all of these questions. What do you
No,
do?
but
Stop,
reason
it.
why I said that. Reason why I said that is because it sounded like it came from Twitter, and then you just melded it to a question. But that's what it just sounded like. Because I was like, I can't believe you just asked me if retro fighting games are bad. No, but I'm just
He's the
trolling.
backlog. He's
No,
all
I
about
get
retro.
it. I look. I assumed that from the name, so I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Go on.
no. I think the truth is no. Retro fighting games are beautiful. I think the lack of information is the problem, especially compared to new fighting games nowadays. Back then, there's even talks about how players used to gatekeep information.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
There's
Still
probably
do.
tech for Marvel too that people still don't know because they don't want nobody to one up them on. Right. And some games will have more information than others, and we've been getting better at putting information across the board via dust loop, things like that. But we don't have like, for example, you're not gonna find a super high in depth tutorial, maybe so, for Street Fighter 2 as to something in Street Fighter 5. Right? You'll be rare to find somebody that comes across that, and unless it's promoted or not, right? Or people carrying it, it might not get pushed. Especially with YouTube, if it's old and if it ain't getting the traction, it's probably already out there on YouTube just hidden somewhere because somebody didn't title it right. Versus how like newer players and newer games, they have information for those types of things. So no, I don't think retro fighting games are bad. I do think there's a lack of information. A lot of gatekeeping is, and fighting games were very different back then. Where it's like there's some information that, like, for example, the only retro game when I'm thinking of, I think right now I consider Melee is. I think the only game that's still evolving, people still figuring out stuff because the scene is evolving and more people are playing them. Honestly, is Melee, like Melee and fighting games too with retro. People are evolving the games because more players are playing them. So I think once more people get involved, there becomes more minds on things, and when more minds on things, it evolves as well. So I don't think it's just retro fighting games are bad. I think retro fighting games, I'll probably be like in the boomer case, like some retro fighting games are way better than the new ones, but in some areas, like, they suck. So I just think the lack of information on things and just not making it accessible for people to understand information. That's where it is. That's why we have these arguments about, should these motions be deleted? Should they not have motion inputs? Because nobody's really explaining, how to do it, and the games themselves don't explain. Like a Z motion on the analog stick looks stupid. Like, let's be honest. Like, what are you finna break the analog stick trying to do it for the first time? Like, trying to learn to do I remember when I was trying to learn to do a Shoryuken, it was Street Fighter 4 when I first was learning how to do it. And I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, what does this mean? And then, like, I all the cool characters to me, real rap. This is a real side story that applies to this. I love all the my favorite character in history, like, obviously, is Chun-Li. Like, that's my favorite character. But I can't play Chun-Li because I didn't understand how to do damn spinning bird kick. Like, my friends would do it, but they wouldn't be. They were way older, like, at the time, and they were like, "Oh, you gotta figure it out." And I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So I said, "Fuck it, I'm not gonna play charge here." There's a lot of people out there. You'll probably come across this podcast and be like, "Oh, she charge. I'm not playing that character." So I did not learn charge characters, the concept of how charge position and stuff worked, until Smash Ultimate. That's when my brain started opening up when Sakura explained charge positioning with Terry. And then I really understood when May came to Strive. That's when I started understanding. So then once I started figuring out how to combo with May, I started going back to old games like Street Fighter 4. I was like, oh my God. Like right now, all I want to do is play charge characters. That's all I want to do. I'm like,
this old back wall comboing. This is fantastic.
Yeah, but like the game will have like this circle with this line. It's like, hold. How long do I hold? Is there a specific way I'm supposed to hold? And then when you look at the menu and the move list, you're like, wait, all the characters' buttons is like forward. So I'm gonna release the move anyway, then hit the and then it's like my brain was like, wow. the more you know. I was like, it makes sense now.
Literally
But
just
the
did the
game
meme.
don't teach you that. Yeah.
Like the
An
Yeah.
explosion of knowledge.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's great.
so I do think there's some information not said properly or out there for everybody to understand, and I feel like fighting games are in the track to grow that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's the lack of knowledge,
I agree.
information. Yeah.
I just would say that if it's possible, and I don't know if it is, but this is something that I think about quite often, as I would love to learn older fighting games, but there are not enough tutorials on YouTube to learn those tutorials or to learn those fighting games. There are some of them are not that bad, but even those are sort of dated now. I would love to have somebody. I've thought about going back, honestly, and just making a YouTube channel where I just made tutorials on fighting games, like modern tutorials on
Right.
Marvel,
honestly.
on Marvel 2, on I don't know, whatever, on Garo, whatever it is, just so you can Art of Fighting, whatever. People can go and they can learn how to play that fighting game. And then that would help other people who are just learning something. Like the first thing I do is when, like, I was learning JoJo's. Like I learned JoJo's Heritage for the Future.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I'm interested in this game. I want to learn something about it. And then I sat there and struggled with combos for like an entire day. Like just one of Jotaro's combos. And, you know, it's like just poor tutorials and, you know, sometimes stuff that doesn't work. And I would love to just kind of go through and kind of break that down. But you know, who knows what's going to happen in the future. But no, sir. I will add this as a little salty wound. No, I write all my questions. I'll say this, even if that is kind of an obvious one.
No.
You wounded him.
No. I'm sorry.
I sat down for like an hour and wrote these questions.
No. I'm sorry, because the question's really good. Don't get it twisted. The question's really good.
But it is a Twitter
seems
question.
Like, yeah. It just seems like not saying you did it, but it seems like somebody's just like, man, I hate these boomer games. Nobody teaching them. Oh, these games suck. And like, where'd that come from? Because I know, for example, a big thing about fighting games that's a problem is that a lot of the older fighting game tech, for some reason, are in Discords.
Yep.
Like they're deep ingrained in Discords.
Who wants to go scrape a Discord? Yeah, who wants to go scrape a Discord? Yeah, I don't want to.
Like I don't even want to go to Discord to get games. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like if I just can't queue up, I'm just not gonna play it at the time. Or I'm gonna just find somebody else to play that I know. They're willing to sit there and play for a long period of time.
Do you want to know where this question comes from, though? Like how I thought of it?
What?
Well, okay, so you're from a younger generation.
No.
You are the newer generation and you're making fighting game content. We are boomers. Okay, I want to know. We're the same age. I want to know how you perceive things and how like I interpret something from my own point of view on how I see retro fighting games. And I love them, but I want to know what people, and I don't think, if you said, I think retro fighting games are bad, I don't disagree with you, or I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm just interested to see what your perspective on things are. And that's your perspective. And I don't think if you said that they were bad, that's your opinion. And I'm not going to be like, you're wrong about that. Even though like I asked you the question, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
However you feel, whatever you think, that's perfectly fine. But when we were talking about Street Fighter Alpha and how that's something that's new to you, I'm so curious from someone who's a little bit older, who's played Street Fighter Alpha for a few years. And I mean, I'm not good at it, but I love learning about older fighting games. You know, what does that look like for you? So that's really where that question comes from.
I can answer that too. When it comes to looking at older fighting games, I typically go to like zoning like play styles. Simply because I know for me, which you're right, like in some instances, execution is like for example, Capcom dropped the Fighting Collection last year, and the game I never got the chance to play was Vampire Savior, and I was like, yo, this game's dope. I have this game is raw. Like it's so many cool characters I've never known about, and I feel like I've gotten robbed because I didn't get to play this game. But going to search for information on the game, you have a Wikipedia of more reading, right? And
game facts. Yeah.
Yeah, and game facts. And it's like, okay, that's cool and all. If I really want the information, I have to really, really want the information, right? But there's no YouTube tutorials, and there's people constantly playing these games and side tournaments and stuff like that. And if there are YouTube tutorials, it's like they're bad. Maybe not the information, but the mic quality is bad. The footage is bad. The audio is bad, right? And it's like, it sucks because it's like, yo, I really want to get into this game, but you're not selling a good job to me on like why you should play this game, right? And it's like the companies nowadays are taking the liberty of explaining. That's something I love about Strive, is that they drop these starter guides to tell you, all right, this is what the character does. This is what the character doesn't do. That's how you play the character. This is the special moves. Start from there, right? Because those are the general questions you ask. What's the next step people mostly look up on YouTube nowadays, especially the younger generation, like even younger than me? They all look up like, oh, how to combo. They want to learn how to get the damage, right? And then all extra stuff falls in line when they realize they're losing. They're like, all right, I got to play neutral. I got to stop getting hit by this.
I got to learn the game.
Gotta learn the game. Which is all just neutral, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, I do feel like when it comes to some older games, now honestly, if we use Marvel, I can find whatever I need on Marvel. I found it when I first was thinking about this channel, because when Marvel Infinite was coming out, I was like, I want to play Marvel 2. And I grew up playing Marvel 2 on PS3 with friends, but their PS3 broke and we all switched to Xbox. So we just didn't play that for a minute. We forgot about it. But I know with Marvel 2, it was always dope that I can go to Google and probably find something. But at the end of the day, even if the information is there, we're gonna look up how you do the Infinite. You know what I mean? The famous meme.
Iron Man, yeah.
Yeah, we would just look up them. Everybody's just like, yeah, just put Iron Man last. That's how we was growing up. We was like, just put Iron Man last. We just gonna do the meme. See who can do it. That's how we used to play it. So till I got older, I realized, okay, there's more to this. I started looking at these older games, and I'm like, yeah, the information's there, but it's not exciting. Whereas like I could look up Bridget and Strive, and like there's like 30 different tutorials. Yeah, everything's there. I'm like, okay.
You know, realistically, we'd just have to go back and we'd have to talk to James Chen and be like, James Chen, what's... Nobody gets that. God damn it. James. Okay. So if you don't know, guys, if you go to a game facts tutorial on a retro fighting game, I don't want to say 9 times out of 10, but a lot of times those are written by James Chen, believe it or not. So like I looked up X-Men versus Street Fighter tutorial, didn't know it, written by James Chen. Looked at the top. I was like, oh wow. So it's like this sort of this inside joke for me. So now you guys know, if I ever say like, yo, this retro fighting game, we'd have to bring James Chen on to explain us how to play it. Yeah. So now you know. Definitely, we'll definitely have you on sometime, man. Also, okay. So Quinn, what do you think about the retro fighting games being bad? What do you think of that? What's your opinion? I want to give me your take, bro. I want to hear it.
Okay, well, there's some retro fighting games that I really enjoy, such as JoJo's Heritage, because Heritage just fun. I love JoJo's.
Yeah.
But for the most part, older fighting games, I just don't really care for them. Due to a combo of like lack of information, usually like lack of, I guess, like forward compatibility with a lot of things.
Yep.
And just having that massive barrier to any kind of entry, because you could put up any game technically and just be like, hop on Fightcade, but then you fight a guy that's been playing the game for the last 20 years and he just washes you, and you just, oh, I mean, all right, that's how the game plays. I just don't really have any interest in that.
Right.
And so I don't know. It's touchy. I understand why people really enjoy the older games, but for the most part, they're just not really for me.
Okay. So
Since we're all set.
So, all right. So with that, I have a little bit of a game here for you guys to close out the interview. And I'm going to go ahead. So I want to do a word association with both of you guys.
Oh,
So
Okay.
it's a little bit of rapid fire. I just want you to say the first thing that comes to your
all
mind.
right.
Okay.
And I'm going to start off with Quintessence, and then I'm going to go to Yaya, okay? So I got 10 for each of you. And then I have another thing here. All right, Quint. Let's start off with you. What the first word is Evo?
Melee.
Hadouken.
Ryu.
Combo breaker.
Mortal Kombat.
Arcades.
Street Fighter.
The Heat system.
Tekken.
Tekken. King of Fighters.
What?
King of Fighters.
My
Kingdom Hearts.
Riku.
Resident Evil.
Resident Evil. Leon.
Tilt.
Tilt. Tekken.
Footsies.
Footsies.
Okay, fair enough. It's word association. I just want to point out, I'm proud of you for taking that Resident Evil choice and the Kingdom Hearts one and not being petty about it. I will continue to be petty about Kingdom Hearts and Resident Evil. If you don't know, Kingdom Hearts, Quintessence says Kingdom Hearts storyline makes perfect sense, but Resident Evil does not.
Makes perfect sense.
So I will continue to fight this battle forever.
Okay,
So
not the Resident Evil, but the Kingdom Hearts. I think they both make perfect sense.
Thank you for being the pillar, the responsible adult here in the room. I appreciate that.
If you play the
The
game,
biggest thing is that all the things you ask for are just in The Last of Us, but it's not a Resident Evil game. I understand.
See,
that. I understand. That.
I
But
also
that's
know
the hill I will die on.
that's that petty
you
hill
just
you're
want
gonna
to
die
play
on.
The Last of Us.
I don't want to play The Last of Us. I refuse now because you recommended it. That's how petty
That's
I am.
fair.
So yeah, we can move on to Yaya. Okay, Yaya. Word association. Tekken.
fire.
Street Fighter.
Also fire.
Rollback.
Good.
Evo.
Money.
Frosty Fausting.
Faust.
Combo.
What was that?
Combo. Like do combo. A combo.
Neuron Fire
Strings.
combo.
What was that?
Strings.
Strings. Tournament.
Yes. Competition.
Arcade.
Killer Instinct.
Ryu.
Annoying.
Mortal Kombat.
Scorpion.
Scorpion. All right. Now we're going to move on to the last section of the interview, which is, if you don't mind. So within 3 moves, you can move something up or you can move something down. What would you change on this list?
Or just only S, A, and B? Is there more?
There's a lot more. Literally anything you can think of is probably on here.
Okay.
Except for Air Guys.
Air Guys is actually on here.
Is it?
Yes.
Let me see. Okay. All right. Number 1, Guilty Gear Strive to B. I think it was at the top.
You're saying Strive should be in B?
Yes.
Where is Strive?
It's
You know,
at the
an
top.
S-tier?
S tier.
Next to the chicken tendies.
Strive should be in B? Okay.
Yes. Okay. Go down. Let's see. All right. Take number 2. I think I'm just go ahead and give it to it. Under Night in Birth should be S. It's an
My
A.
man.
It's an A?
My man.
Yeah, an A. I think if you really want to learn anime fighters at its core,
Okay.
even different mechanics that are even applied to games today, that game needs to be up there. That game's tutorial is broken.
Okay.
Like, this is where it gets hard because now I made it stupid hard. Let's see. That game don't got no net code. Keep going down.
You have plenty of
That
not
would be
played
that'd be
games.
that
Go on.
would be so weeb if I just said that. But no, that's too
Hey,
easy.
yo, be you. Be you.
All right,
do
you know
what you gotta
what?
do.
You know what?
Here it
I want
comes.
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and A.
Where is that?
It's up there in Wasted Potential.
You're saying this belongs in A?
Wasted potential.
Yeah, in A. I think the only problem I have with that game
Mhm.
is that it looked ugly.
Okay, we'll put it right there. Okay, excellent.
Is this
That's-
gonna be the new
whoops,
thing every
whoops.
time we have someone on?
It might be. It might be. It might be.
They get to move the tier list around.
They get to move the tier list.
Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna turn this off.
Grand
really
Blue
quick.
might hit S yet.
It's possible.
The only reason I won't give it S, I was thinking about that before I said Marvel, is the
Netcode.
netcode's too bad.
I
It's
know.
too bad. Yeah.
But Rising. Rising?
That didn't say Rise. I would have put Rise in the S. I would have
It's not even out yet. You can't do that. It's illegal.
You know it's gonna be good though. All right, you know it's gonna be good.
Right. Okay. Awesome. So, I don't think we're gonna get a chance to get to the news for today. This is about 8 p.m.
We hit all the important
Yeah,
stuff.
we read all the important
Tekken.
stuff. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, TikTok, and everything else with Avataryaya.
Avataryaya.
Me.
Awesome.
Simple and clean. That's the way I like
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Make it. It's the way you're making me feel tonight.
I wouldn't say that.
Cause you and we're not gonna do this.
Just walk away, backlog.
Yeah, walk away.
That's okay. I don't. I know I would. Anyway, hey, Quinn, where can people find you?
Oh, streaming over on Twitch at Quintessence HD and also posting nonsense on Twitter, also Quintessence HD.
Awesome. And you can find the backlog on Twitch, Instagram, TikTok. You are on YouTube, pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts as well for the Backlog Podcast. This has been the Backlog Podcast number 45. We will see you soon. Peace out.
Peace.
Bye-bye.